This is a bad idea.
So while I give you my 10 entries of my top 100 per 100 subscribers, I wanted to do something extra for the big 1,000. Something a little more than the best songs of all time. Something a little more related to the usual nonsense I talk about.
I figured that now that I've got you here, I may as well lose you.
I've never been shy of my weird and off-kilter opinions of the pop charts, and that's why I think it'd be fun to point a spotlight on how silly my opinion truly is. Or delightfully detestable. You be the judge.
Before we get into it, keep in mind that I've never actually lied about my true opinions. If I thought one of these songs was going to make a best list, then I would have put it in a best list.
So what's on this thing? Pop music. Not specifically charting, but definitely all pop music. In some way or another, I like them all. Will you? Odds are very, very, very high that you don't. But I know you got pop skeletons in your closet, too.
Unlike my poor opinion closet, I've got about a graveyard in there.
Some of these I have talked about before, some I have not. All are embarrassing in some way, shape, or form. It's like that Double Agent video, except it's for many years instead of one.
This is why I'm in my shame corner, where you guys can watch me for your entertainment and disapproval.
Merry 1,000 subscribers, family. Let's get you mad. Why, this is the top 10 songs I like and nobody else does, you hear? Number 10.
This would be pretty high on the opposite list. Crappy song.
I'd say I was fairly critical of the Fifth Harmony soloists last year. Camilla had 2 songs on my worst list, and Normani was half of my most pointless song for being, well, kind of crappy. I'm sure if the rest of them made waves, it would have been a similar result.
And apparently I'm supposed to fear fan backlash for saying stuff like that. Well, come on, bring your friends. I'll take all the views.
Welp, in the worst year of music in the last decade, they made one of the worst songs to grab so much airplay.
And I think it's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. I don't love it, but I think it's alright.
Does it have problems? Of course. Ty Dolla $ign's verse is the worst of the year. He sucks. Go away, pig. I hear a lot of hate towards Camilla's opening. Yeah, alright. It's more easy to ignore than anything.
I might like this for 2 reasons. It's really catchy, and it's not worth it.
This is one of the most insidious choruses for getting locked in your brain. It attaches itself to your consciousness and will not let go until you force it out.
And that's partially why I think it was so popular. You could certainly get worse things stuck in your head. The year was dominated by Meghan Trainor.
You want to complain about it ripping Gotta Get Through This by Daniel Bedingfield? Fine, but it took the best part of it. It's infectiously catchy, and not in a bad way.
And it's made worse because people get the torches and pitchforks for this, and not the real enemy.
Give it to me, I'm worth it.
You want a real song where Camilla sounds absolutely awful? Terrible, pointless chorus? Most cringeworthy and goosebump-inducing background elements? Worth It is your guy. You got the wrong man.
Work From Home. A 6 out of 10 song that gets 2 out of 10 hatred.
Number 9.
I asked. I received.
Instead of being a song that everybody hates and I think is fine, I Fall Apart is more that many people don't like it and I think it's good. Like, genuinely better than nearly everything else he's got.
1, never been a fan. And 2, nearly.
I'll put it this way. Praying by Kesha is probably one of the strongest emotional performances ever. Every second of it was perfectly crafted to put a sick dog down. Maybe Post didn't have as fierce a subject matter, but the guy is broken, and I believe it.
Devil in the form of a whore.
People hate this, and I think it's perfect. His emotions can flip from mad to wrecked on a dime, because that's real loss. He only goes there once, then he falls back into his sorrows.
It's not easy to do. Juice WRLD proved that.
These 2 songs are about the same thing, and while one guy just proved he was a dumb shithead, the other showed a level of depth I knew he had in there somewhere.
Yes, you in the front.
But he sounds like shit.
Principal's office, now!
Same deal. I completely disagree. He nailed it, and in a way where you can't actually criticize him. He's supposed to sound off, unhinged, raw. That's how he feels, and it's just how he played it.
And am I supposed to pretend this is his worst singing?
I've been fucking hoes and popping pillies.
Bored.
Saucing.
Bored.
Damn, I ain't be going psycho.
Bored. Thank you for being something different for once. And even with that, something practically amazing.
I did snub it, just as an honorable mention for my best list.
Damn it, it's great. Whatever, I'll pout in my corner. Number 8. Sometimes it's not really the song, it's just one thing. I don't necessarily think this next song is good, because it's not. It's pretty horrible. It's just...
Kanye.
You're such a fucking hoe. I love it.
So if your last name isn't West and you're in this song, you're bad. Lil Pump sounds like his average IDGAF self.
Although, I do actually wonder what he sounds like if he did try to care.
Everything he does is bad. The chorus is total shit, his verse is pointless, it's a waste of time.
And the comedy sample?
We can tell niggas today, hey, I wanna come, motherfucker.
Okay, thanks.
Other than being lightly related to the subject of the song, it's pretty dumb and adds nothing. That's basically why they only use it at the very beginning and the very end. It would have completely ruined the flow of the song. And Kanye, what is this beat, dude?
Your boyfriend is a...
I know you got help from a couple of nobodies, but you're Kanye. You know what a good beat sounds like. You've made like 1 million of those by now. This is simple crap.
Plus Kanye, these lyrics.
I'm a sick fuck, I like a quick fuck.
Why can't I be mad at you, man?
These lines are outright fucking terrible, but I still find myself just grinning like a big idiot through all of them.
I can't take any of it seriously, because clearly he doesn't.
This is just a big old prank, and for some reason, people bought the hell out of it. Guess the public just wanted something a little less serious, which is apparently how we conduct the pop charts now.
Terrible song that's a joke. Friggin' Kanye.
Number 7.
2016. Fun best list I made, right?
This best list is the biggest reason that was the worst year of pop music I covered. I used to cheat songs on the list left and right, and even in doing so, I still couldn't get the thing to 10. There was just no way in hell I was putting Minek on a best list. Goodness.
It even made for a good joke.
Let's be honest. You don't want me to do a worst pop songs of 2016. Mainly for this reason.
I did end up making that pop best list on Twitter, and that didn't end up making it. But you know what did?
Don't worry, it gets worse.
Yeah, good year for the word work.
I don't know why I was immune to this song's blaring problems, but I not only never got tired of hearing it, I would stop and seek it out on radio.
It's probably 2016's fault. There's absolutely nothing good. This is my number 1 for the year. Yeah, fuck 2016.
I'd say it's partially the year's fault, but I still listen to this in my free time. Why?
Please recognize I'm trying, baby.
I think work was a gamble that worked.
Recently, I tried listening to some early 2010s Rihanna, stuff for another upcoming project, and I got no real reaction out of any of it. What's My Name? Where Have You Been? We Found Love? They all bleed together into an okay, forgettable slog. And while 4 or 5 Seconds was never really my favorite, it never did all that much for me.
And no, I don't still hate it. But I do hate that stupid ass video where I said I did.
But work just rubbed people the wrong way. First single before / during anti-whatever, you'll correct me in the comments, had a chorus that was 80% the title, minimalist and crappy beat, and the performance of somebody heavily out of it on Novocaine.
I don't care. It's all great.
It's mostly the beat, actually. I find it really comforting. Especially when radio was irredeemable, Work gave me a relaxing escape from the infinite other terrors that roulette wheel provided. And I can pretend it's all in the beat, but Rihanna sounds refreshed everywhere but the chorus.
I just hope that it gets to you.
But I love the contrast between the two. The verses are mellow while the chorus is forceful. Damn it, it's a nice song.
Even Drake isn't the worst for once.
I'm not really gonna sing his praises here, cause it's a mostly forgettable verse, but it could have been a whole lot worse. He doesn't drag it down, and he sounds like 2013 Drake. Work by Rihanna Drake. Not that bad. Number 6.
So the next two entries are songs that I've waited for the perfect opportunity just to bring up. So do you know which ex-Ambassadors hit song I think is the best?
This is absolutely not like Work. I don't listen to this song on my own or think I snubbed it for the best list.
Of the three singles, it's the only one substantial enough to deserve recognition. Good or bad.
Jeep Renegade is fine. It was catchy for the week it was released, but that's it. It became blaringly empty in record time. It would do really well on a third list if I ever thought about doing one.
And then there's that third single after Unsteady called... third single?
I thought I was ready.
This song is just terrible, and most of you are probably lucky enough to have never had the displeasure of hearing it. It's completely desperate for relevance, and that's well packaged in the only part that matters. Its unbelievably brash chorus. The percussion is definitely not We Will Rock You, it's Let's Get Social 2014.
Social.
And it gets way more ironic from there.
I was rock steady.
You were never rock steady. Every song you've made has been at best crumbly.
He's singing this over the absolutely weakest constructed beat that sounds like the recording software was glitching out and they thought it sounded alright.
This would be Unsteady's fault. It's like they don't understand why it worked there and it's completely awful here.
So Unsteady has a very cheap defense mechanism, and nobody will agree with me that it works, but it's there.
Unsteady is really unsteady.
The synth percussion is a mess, it runs this gramophone static throughout the verses, and Sam Harris sounds like a wreck. And that's the point. He's broken, he's weak, and that's the point?
It's not a defendable song. Because do you really think a critic is gonna let go of all of those blaring problems?
I don't blame anybody for ripping it to shreds, but I think for in the worst year of pop music since 2006, it's not bottom 10 or even 20 worthy. The most defendable position I can give it is it's ignorable, so give it that much credit for my sake.
It was number 7 on the worst of committee. Thinking it's fine might as well be liking it.
Number 5.
That's a real one in your reflection.
Oh man, Drake making a good song? Last year really was screwed up big time. It's like every artist had collective amnesia and thought they were always good artists. Wish it would have stuck. But I never really was a fan, even pre-professional puberty.
Somewhere in 2013, he went through this change where he became bassier and dopier. Listen to a song from each era back to back. He practically doesn't sound like the same guy.
I never really wanted anything of his outside of radio or being forced to listen to him for my favorite set of non-list content.
Just no matter what he did, it was the
Worst. Motherfucker never loved us.
I Think Nice for What is a fantastic song. I love Worst Behavior more.
All I wanted was some good B-roll for the Scorpion video, and there pops up this random song from the Previews era. Whatever, it works. Not like the guy can make videos for his current songs in a timely fashion.
After the first listen, I thought it was incredibly stupid. After the second, I was in love.
I'm not sure anybody actually hates this song, but it's about that barely talented guy called Drake, and the fact he accidentally made a song I love by doing nothing different.
I think I have to revisit that Drake effort spectrum to pin down why this works.
Only one song was used for this perspective, and that was Guilechester, which I identified as a Drake 7. Presumably, a Drake 10 was going to be obnoxious.
Oh, it's obnoxious. And has everything Drake's got.
There's a level of kitsch to the whole thing that makes it transcendently good. Mostly because it's so far past completely ironic, it's the best thing ever.
Bitch, you better have my money when I come for the shit like ODB.
Drake?
Where I reside, it look like a resort aside.
Old dirty bastard.
West Coast, are you in the house? Japan, are you in the house?
No, you're not gonna do anything like that guy.
And I love it when he throws out rhetoricals.
Look at you, look at you, and look at you. I'm glad that they chose us.
I think he's trying to acknowledge how ridiculous it is, and yeah, looking at myself is making me horrified as to how much I enjoy it.
Flex. Nigga, I'm just flex.
Terribly.
It might honestly be the hyper-sincerity of the whole song. You know how people can come to believe a lie as concrete truth just because of time and conviction? Drake is that. Because who the hell does he think he's talking about? Up to 2013, he spent his time getting barely any ridicule. This song is everything Started From the Bottom failed to be, because it's so unself-aware, it breaks itself.
This ain't the same race he used to take the Acura at 5 a.m. to go and shoot the grassy up on the side.
Oh my god, that is the lowest bottom I have ever heard. I thought I had it bad when I drove my Rolls Royce to school. Poor Drake.
Nowhere is there any evidence that he's come from anything but stardom. The video and its raunchy locations look like a costume change.
The song has no legs to stand on, and it's the best thing that Drake will ever make.
Maybe it's because I love things that are so bad they're good. Maybe I have Drake Stockholm Syndrome, and the 200th song of his is good to me for no reason.
No, I got it. It's a disenfranchised guy playing dress-up to being thug.
It's literally Dress Up as a song, and I'm baffled as to how I can like it so much. Damn you, Drake. You made me feel positively towards you. Balls.
Thanks again for these, Sean.
Number 4.
Do you know what's worse than liking a Maroon 5 song? Liking a Maroon 5 song from after 2011.
Not like their halftime show was anything but total shit, but any time they did anything from this decade was just miserable. Because this era was not spent by me listening to pop music, and Todd mentioned it in a video, I thought this song came out in 2012.
Haha! Preemptive redaction!
Turns out it came out before moves like Jagger, so my shame was in the wrong place. I didn't like 2 songs from the post-sellout years. I just liked one.
Looks like you're not alone, Kumarai.
So I cross my heart and I hope to die.
You called?
Kumarai, what are you doing here?
I could ask you the same question, Pucky. I don't know whether to be mad that you copied me or grateful that I'm not the only one who hates this. It's too damn early.
It's 2 p.m.
It's too early.
Alright, you bailed me out with Humble last time. I think I got this from here.
This may be this high because it's completely baffled me as to why I like this one and not the rest. Is it marginally better than the others? No. Is it at least reasonably lyrically satisfying like Cold? Hell no.
Is it good by accident? Absolutely.
Amazingly, there's 3 things I can point to that made it unexpectedly better.
First off, I'm talking to you, drummer. I hear you for once. Thank you for showing up.
A cheap way to soften the blow of an otherwise worthless song is to have the drummer do a 16th note hi-hat pattern with a syncopated bass rhythm. It's absolutely the bare minimum I look for in a serviceable drum riff, and I even think it exceeds that, especially with the open hi-hat into a close to start every measure.
It's actually one of the only post-sellout songs where I can praise one of the studio musicians for rescuing one of Adam's songs. Oh, they're still a band? They could have fooled me.
Secondly, and to Adam's credit, this is also my favorite chorus of the era.
And I'll only stay with you one more night.
I almost believe he actually cares for this girl. Well, as much as that empty head can care for someone who's just a good lay.
She's making the right choice in the video. Get the fuck out of there. The video director may have gotten how much of a shitty person Adam is in the song more than he did. That's what this reprehensible song is about. He can't leave because the sex is that good. Like, fuck off, Adam.
That's actually where the third reason comes from. Instead of hearing the lyrics for what they are, I hear them as de-innuendo, referring to what it's like to like this song.
You and I go hard at each other like we're going to war.
We've been at war. I hate you, man.
You and I get so damn dysfunctional, we start keeping score.
One song review, 6 songs on my worst lists.
And now I'm feeling stupid, falling back to you.
I know, this song is so awful and I can't stop liking it.
And I be waking up, feeling satisfied but guilty as hell.
I'm ashamed, okay?
Honestly, every time I hear it, I pretend it's actually called One More Time. I say that's how many more times I'll listen to it. And 7 years later, I still stop on it if it comes up. You guys don't deserve me.
Hey, we like the same terrible song. High five.
Number 3.
Compound it to an already disagreeable list, because I know some of you don't like it. My number 3 is an artist.
Not exactly a whole artist's body of work, but instead of me choosing both of her singles, which aren't that drastically different, I'll just talk about them together. It's not really about them anyways, it's about her.
In 2016, the worst fucking year of the decade, where we needed to focus our hatred on the right things, we decided to hate Daya?
Where do the good boys go?
And why the hell don't you pronounce it as Daya? Her name is the worst part about her.
Both of her singles made my end of years. Hideaway just barely made my 2015 best list, and Sit Still Look Pretty would have made a straight up pop list if I made one.
And I was never ashamed of it. Apparently I was supposed to be.
So if I haven't said it enough, lyrics come last. I analyze the most popular songs of the time, and sometimes nitpicking shitty lyrics helps contextualize what makes a bad song worse. Rarely, for me at least, are lyrics so unbelievably bad that it supersedes the song's music altogether.
If I stay, I might not leave alone.
The primary complaint for D-Dog I heard was that she was way out of her depth, generalizing and dismissive, and pretty childlike in her approach.
Yeah? She was a child when she made these?
That's a double-edged argument there, mateys. Go ahead, throw her age in her face. It's just as easy to use it as a defense. So she's a jaded cynic. We've all gone through that phase.
She could be a little less blunt about it, yes, but again, I really don't care about any of it.
Daya came into the scene as the calming waves of paradise turned into a tsunami. Hideaway came in the peak of 2015's high point, and I still defend how easy it is to enjoy. She made a Zara Larsson-light song, and she got hit for the pompous lyrics. Then, the darkness hit.
You should go and love yourself. So we'll piss off the neighbors. Once I was 7 years old.
Both 15 and 16 started like absolute shit, but 15 180'd in the back half. 16 wallowed in sorrow and despair from start to finish. I couldn't even muster anything better than an 8 out of 10 for its brightest spark. Pretending it came out in 2017, it would have been number 10. Maybe not even sure I can give it that much credit.
And of all the shit we had to choose from, Sit Still Look Pretty was nearly committee honorable mention fodder. Hideaway was.
Among songs that I've thought were slaughtered from overanalyzing, this simple self-empowerment song got steamrolled for being stupidly unself-aware. It's almost like a young person was singing it. But we should have stopped for 1 second and just took it as it is. A pop song about expecting more than the status quo. It's not high art, and it's not insulting.
If you need an alternate, just open up the 2016 end of year. There's plenty of shit to choose from.
Daya is fine. That's what I'd like you to take from this. Hate the real enemies.
Number 2.
This one goes out to all my critic friends out there fighting the good fight. Letting the dirge of this world have it. Years of no apologies and no repercussions. And finally, you guys gave him hell. I'm so proud of each and every one of you. You all make me proud to be in this profession. But as you may know by now, just not that sensible.
If you want to know where the hell I get off, the So Far list for 2018 is where I provide the context for why exactly I could like such an abomination of a song.
I've explained that enough. Let's go deeper.
Golly gee, number 2 on the worst list by committee. It did worse than Rainbow Boy discovering the N-word, worse than 7 minutes of the worst performances to ever come together, worse than X glorifying suicide. A fucking comedy song about Lil Dicky discovering the N-word almost topped the whole thing.
Of 17 total lists, it made 13. One person put it on there just for an appearance. That's how not cool it is to like it.
I stand by everything I said during the spring with this, but knowing that Bulk Noise uses my lists in his community videos, I just had to contribute to the total score this song will get.
At 76% of lists, it's actually at a tie for third with
Look what you made me do.
80%.
I know I can treat you better.
And the grand champ of list inclusion,
Body like a back row.
Now I'm proud of myself. 3 of those made my lists. The 4th?
Some years of tallying the lists have been somewhat painful. 2016's best was a hilarious mess, just like the year. This year's worst was looking like a similar story. I hated nothing that made the top 5 on my list because I'm a sophisticated asshole and only recognize songs that get in my way.
But there was a high spot in tallying. It was where I got to sing along unironically to something that people put on most lists.
I woke up in Chris Brown's body.
Here's my biggest fault as a music critic. I can 100% detach an artist's personal life from their music. I still love Kanye to death, no matter how many Trump visits he makes. Do What You Want with R. Kelly is the best version, and he's human garbage.
So is Chris Brown, but my soul isn't black enough to not take a joke once in a while.
This song had no chance out of the gate. Lil Dicky working with Chris Brown, that's not a song, or funny, dislike, unsubscribe. You lost your heart, Billboard.
That's why I think that line was just inconsequential.
Ain't nobody judging cause I'm black or my controversial past.
No, I don't agree with it, or think it's funny, or even worthwhile. But as one part of, I'll remind you, a dumb comedy song, it's not the end of the world. He didn't directly reference it, he didn't admit to unknown crimes, and it didn't come out of his mouth.
Again, not saying it should be celebrated, just ignored.
And do I really need to explain juxtaposition and why some of the other jokes work? This is a picture of Lil Dicky. This is a picture of Ed Sheeran. I wouldn't want to be Ed Sheeran either. That dude is boring as shit. Wouldn't it be crazy to be Chris Brown? Yes, that's loony.
And again, my position on this side of the firing squad is just a lost cause.
If you hate it, which you should, I'm never going to get you to see it the way I do. And it doesn't even have to be that way. It was a beacon of light when I felt everything was slipping away from me. It's a worthless comedy song to you, but it's worth the laugh for me. Now we never have to bash heads again, internet.
And I never had a bad opinion ever again. The end. But I know what you're thinking. That's not the most backward opinion I've ever had. What could top this list? Is he really gonna put honorable mentions in another arbitrary list video? Yep.
Oh, 2014, you joyless, messy wreck. When Taylor Swift made one of the 3 fun songs in the entire year, I was relieved.
Would it have made my best list in the adjacent years? Probably not. Will I always love it for its dumb simplicity? Absolutely.
It Ain't Me is 3,000% the best Selena Gomez song. It's not even close. But second place?
Shit is catchy. What? Still a 4 out of 10. People treat it like it's any worse than the 40 other songs she's got.
It's not great, but hatred for it in particular seems inflamed to me. Or maybe because 2 people I respect greatly dislike it very passionately. That's probably it. I think this is Halsey's best song and probably never going to be topped. Todd put it best when he said she's caught in between pop and alternative now, because I'd call this 80% alt, 20% pop, and it suits her better than anything else. Yes, I do like it more than Strangers. Don't at me.
Or do. I'm so lonely.
The lyrics aren't anything special, but they don't really need to be. Chorus is just profound enough to be interesting. Whatever, I like it.
I'm so fancy.
Guess who I don't like in this song? Yeah, you're right. Charlie XCX. That's not what you said?
I will unapologetically never like her stuff. She's like the opposite of Daya's 2 hits. I'm the only one who hates everything. Sorry. I am very, very, very apologetic for giving Iggy Azalea this one pass. It's just, the second verse might be in my top 3 verses for the year, and overall, this is pretty sedate in terms of how annoying she is on every other one of her songs. So maybe it's by comparison, or maybe it's by being in a shitty year. All I know is I'm still listening to it unironically. It might be 5 years too late and completely ironic, but an absent-minded Katy Perry song is still enjoyable to me, no matter the context.
Just like my boy.
I got the green light, mommy, and you know what that means.
Mr. 305, aka Mr. Worldwide, aka Mr. International, might be my guiltiest pleasure in terms of artists I love. Other than Cali Ocho, Feel This Moment, Wild Wild Love, and Hey Baby, the man can't do any wrongs. Hotel Room Service, so cute. Rain Over Me, fantastic vodka commercial. International Love, totally fine by me. Back in Time,
Number 2.
Don't Stop the Party, I agree, don't. Timber, the more Kesha, the better. Fun, fine. Fireball. Why would you... Oh, whatever, you goofball. Time of Our Lives made a best list in the best year of the decade.
The world would be a different place without our Miami Chico. Sometimes I wish the decade didn't pass him by.
Let's get it now.
Number 1. It's fair to assume this was going to be my number 1. Not only does absolutely nobody like it, I think it's good enough to make a best list. The differential between my enjoyment and the critical thrashing is separated by miles.
But it couldn't top this list. Because this final song isn't just hated by everybody, I hate it too. At least half of it.
This isn't here because it made my best list for 2017. It's here because every time I heard it in passing, I wouldn't stop listening. As one artist shit all over it, another did a shockingly fine job. And even on that opinion, I will stand alone.
For this one opinion, I am utterly ashamed. And that is why I am crediting the only person on the song I like.
Not saying his name? Check. Switching off the video to me bowling? Check. Hitting the subscribe button a second time makes you unsubscribe? Check, 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 check.
That was a joke. Please don't leave me. I want to wait a little bit before I get to my 1,000 subscribers lost special.
I said I can ignore an artist's life outside of a song if it's enjoyable to listen to. I can't really enforce that when they bring their history of sexual assault into the lyrics. No, fuck you, you garbage human being. You're a terrible rapper and you'll never do anything quality as long as you live. We don't need this guy, not from Cardi, not from him. Rot. Was that enough?
Yes, audio guy, that was pretty good. Hopefully that'll salvage everyone's opinion of me.
I'll high-five you with my voice later. What I can't excuse the both of us for is unironically loving this production. With every disgusting thing said, I still found myself listening. I tried to hate it. I tried shaming myself. No matter what I did, I still like it because of the bastard behind Bounce Back.
That's a better produced song. Tunnel Vision is about a feeling.
No spoilers for those unfortunate individuals who haven't played it, but the game Doki Doki Literature Club has this song called Sayonara. I can't listen to it or any variation of it without feeling really uneasy. Tunnel Vision does the same thing almost as well. The guitar sounds practically out of key, and the flute throws it further off balance. There isn't a second where those two elements don't ruin my contentment, and that's what makes it shockingly effective. And maybe it's in part to how despicable the words of that nobody hit you, and subtly, maybe Metro even knew that. I've credited the guy before for crafting a perfect beat for a winner, but in the complete opposite sense, he crafted a repulsive image for somebody who didn't even know it. As embarrassing as it is to say, the production light's one of the most artistically unsettling works to hit Billboard, and he should be recognized for it.
And I never made a video again. Good night, everybody!
Literally, all the people I've got to thank. My parents for always hating all of my hobbies and making me overindulge in them out of spite. Calvin for having the idea and drive to start this channel just so I can continue kissing Todd's ass for years to come. Kumarai Fang, probably why anybody classifies me as a corner of the reviewing community. It's been a dandy 2 years. Matt for this never updatable version of Final Cut. Good stuff. But most of all, every one of you sons of bitches for being here with me. This means the world to me, and I couldn't be happier pretending this was all improvised and not word for word scripted. Well, here's the first bit of my top 100 and first subscriber special. I have the next one scripted, and we'll find the time somewhere to put it out. I swear, the top games is in editing. I just wanted you guys to get this first. And, subscribe more, because Ducky loves you. Less than 3, semicolon ending parenthesis, hyphen underscore hyphen.
High five, dude.